Okay, in this problem we have y equals 2 times sine of 3x minus 18 plus 4. So this is correct. The amplitude here is 2. That's this number right here, the positive of that number, which is 2. The period. Okay, so what we do is we factor out the 3 inside the sign, so we get 3 times x minus 6 plus 4. And that's going to help us determine the shifts and the period. So the period for sine and cosine is always 2 pi divided by this number right here, which is 3. So very good there. And then the midline, well, since it's been shifted up 4, the midline is y equals 4. So that's all correct. Okay, the harder part is determining the max and min. It says on the leftmost period where x is greater than 0. So on the first period, is the first full period where x is positive. All right, so let's sketch a little graph here to get an idea of what is going on. Now I know that this minus 6 means it's been shifted right by 6 units. So let's start with that. I'm not going to incorporate the plus 4 just yet. First I just want to shift it right 6 and kind of figure out where those points go. Then the last thing we'll do is go up 4 from there. Okay, so normally, let's see, this is a sine graph. So sine starts at 0, 0, and then it kind of does this. I'm going to, just for the basic shape, sketch it on there. But that's probably not to scale. Okay, so we know it goes right 6. Then let's see. We need to figure out where does one full cycle happen. Okay, and that's where the period comes in. So we know we get one full cycle between here and 2 pi over 3. Now I'm actually going to draw it kind of to the left because I'm looking for the max and min on the first period, which is going to be somewhere in this vicinity. So I'm going to go 2 pi over 3 to the left. So my next cycle is going to begin at 6 minus 2 pi over 3. So that's where my next cycle will begin. So let's go ahead and simplify that a little bit so we can get an idea of where to plot it. So getting a common denominator, that's going to be 18 minus 2 pi all over 3. And we do need to approximate that. So you'll want to do this on a calculator. Okay, which I did, and I get about 3.9. So that's just for graphing purposes to understand what's going on. Okay, so right there at about 4. So we have one full cycle going on from here to here. Now it has been, it has an amplitude of 4 and it's been shifted up, an amplitude of 2 and shifted up 4, but I'm not incorporating that stuff yet. Okay, I'll come back to that. So this is the, right there, that's that number. 18 minus 2 pi all over 3. Okay, so we need to obviously go again. I think we can fit in 1 or 2 more cycles. So the next cycle is going to be begin at a place 2 pi over 3 units before this one. So I'm going to subtract 2 pi over 3 again. So that'll give me 18 minus 4 pi all over 3, which is roughly about 1.811. We'll just go with 1.8, so right in there. I got another full cycle. Again, my points are not crossing at the exact places. All I'm doing is getting the starting points for the cycle. If we do one more cycle, it looks like it maybe starts in a negative area. Let's see. So my next one would be at 18 minus 4 pi over 3 minus another 2 pi over 3. So it's going to be at 18 minus 6 pi all over 3. Let's see what that roughly comes to. Okay, that one comes to negative 0.283. Okay, so something like that. So the leftmost period where x is greater than 0 is going to be that one right there. All right, so now we need to shift it up 4 and stretch it by a factor of 2. Okay, so first, let's stretch it by 2 so that it would become, let's call that 2. Let's call this -2 here. Okay, so it's going to go up to there and down to here. Now it's going to cross in the middle, and I'm just approximating here completely. I have not calculated this high point, the low point, or the middle point. But what I do know is that it crosses the x-axis halfway in between these two points right here, the two endpoints of the cycle, which here I'm marking in green. So that is, let's see, this point and this point. Those are the two green points that I've marked there. So this middle x-intercept is halfway in between those, and then the max is halfway in between those 2 points, and the min is going to be halfway in between those 2 points. And then we can calculate those x values. Once you get the x value, all you really have to do to get the y is just plug it into the function. Okay, so let's go ahead and calculate those x values. So let's take the midpoint to get the x-intercept. Okay, which you could take the average, add these two numbers and divide by 2, or you can probably see we have 18 minus 2 pi over 3 and 18 minus 4 pi over 3. So halfway in between there is going to be 18 minus 3 pi all over 3. Or like I said, take the average, you'll get the same thing. Okay, so that's 18 minus 3 pi all over 3. That one's 18 minus 2 pi all over 3. And that is, oops, nope, that's a 4, sorry. I just got those backwards there. And then this one is 18 minus 2 pi over 3. Okay, then this high point, that max, is going to be halfway in between 18 minus 4 pi over 3 and 18 minus 3 pi over 3. It does say to round to 2 decimals, so we can actually take the middle by just doing this and saying it's going to be 18 minus 3.5 pi over 3. Okay, which I am getting to be 2.33. Let's just keep going, 48. Okay, so that's that x coordinate of the max. Now to get the y coordinate would be 2, but it's been shifted up 4, so it should be 6. So that part is correct, the 6. The x, I would try 2.33. And then the min, you're going to compute the same way. You're going to take halfway between this point and this point, so 18 minus 2.5 pi all over 3. Or again, you can convert to decimals, take the average, however you want to do it. And then the min value, let's see, it was at -2, but then you shift it up 4, so it is going to be a +2. That's correct. It's just the x value that's off a little bit right there. But I'll let you do that last computation, see if you can get that one.